You probably hear this a lot that you gotta ask questions from your hiring managers or executives in your interviews. I'd only say that don't just ask questions for the sake of it. Of course, the questions should make sense because the sharper they are, the better it is. And conversely, asking poor questions can quickly erode your credibility. So just don't ask questions that you can Google, of course, or you can find something on job description, because if you're an executive, you're going for an exec level interview, you're expected to be thorough. So you gotta do your research, right? And when you are asking questions, give them something specific, not something like, hey, what's the culture of the company or what's the culture of the team, because that could mean a lot of things, right? Most importantly, just don't be cute. But let's talk about what questions you can ask that would position you as the expert. My take is like, do this mini transformation mapping exercise. So where you start with a target state. So what do they have in mind for the product or the service that or the initiative that you'd be working on in their company? So for example, let's say if you're a data engineering leader, right? And you may ask, okay, what's the big picture vision for the company's growth, right? 5 years down the line. But how do you see 5 years down the line when things are ideal? What level of maturity or in what way the data organization is supporting that business, right? And with this question, and then of course, the point is, I'm just giving you like this as a target state. You can make it further more precise based off of the job description and your read of the company. But what you're doing is with this question, you're making them articulate their objectives very clearly. And once they say it themselves, their perspective shifts, right? They start thinking about you in the light of, okay, now that I've said that this is where we want to go, can this person help me achieve that? And that's exactly what you want them to think. You want them to start thinking about you in that sense. Now, from there, you want to assess the current state, right? Where you gauge the maturity of what is. So then you may ask like, okay, what's the current level of maturity of the data org? So from your standpoint, what are the biggest gaps in people, process, and technology? Maybe this is the question that you would ask, of course, right? This is an especially painful one for many to answer as like, as the hiring manager or as the executive on the other side who is taking the interview. But it is an important one to ask because only they can tell you the current state, right? And many people don't simply dare ask this question, risking that they don't want to risk offending someone. But think about it. True experts don't really care about how they are perceived as much as getting the job done and asking the hard questions where it's needed, right? And that's exactly what you want to portray about yourself, right? From there, you can move on to the journey questions. Basically, you ask them, okay, is there a clear roadmap to achieve it already, or do you want someone to come in and build that roadmap out, right? Basically, whether you would be coming in to execute or whether you'd be coming in to both strategize and execute. And lastly, you can make them think about the motion questions. Motion questions are basically you portraying that like things are already in motion. What does it look like? So maybe you ask them like, okay, what are some of the immediate wins that we can secure for a maximum ROI to the organization, right? What are some immediate little micro goals that we can go after so that we can build the momentum for the team, we can build the motivation for the team, right? And by the way, this question invokes the idea that you are an action-oriented person. You're making them visualize things in motion, right? Now, from there, once you have assessed all of their state, you, like an expert, you can gather their thoughts around that. You can help them see a clear structure, a structure where there is an obvious poking problem for them, a future state, there's current challenges. They start seeing you as the guide that will take them through that journey, right? And you can round it up like, okay, yeah, I see that you want to go to Y. You are here at X. The biggest challenges that you face on the way are Z. So now in the past, when we did it for this particular organization, this is how we did it. These are the risks that we didn't account for. This particular thing was especially challenging. This is how we navigated it. Now that the gap is clear to the interviewer, right? Everything you're saying about you further makes your case even more compelling because now they're listening to an expert, because somebody who actually took time to understand their problems, right? Then you could even see their heads nodding in agreement and as they listen to you. And so use these in your interviews. Hopefully you have an awesome one. See you in the next one.